So to start off, you're going to be cooking using some kind of a heating source, a stove, a fire, or whatever, a burner or something. And as soon as you take the food off, don't have to turn that burner off. Have a nice pot of water ready to throw on so that while you're eating or, finish prepping food, you can start some KP water going to get ready for doing the dishes after you eat. Nothing worse than finishing off eating and then realizing, oh yeah, I need hot water to clean these dishes. And at that point, it's a 50-50 shot whether it actually happens or not.
All right. So the three-pot method for cleaning. I know some of you have probably seen it. Some of you may have not. I actually start off by telling people there are 5 steps. Step number 1 is get all the food out, everything that you possibly can, and put in the trash. And there's a trash bag hanging right over there. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is put them in order. You're going to want to wash things from the cleanest to the dirtiest, so that if you start washing things that are not so bad, your water's not going to get all nasty. And then by the time you hit the bad stuff, you really don't care. If need be, you can always recycle some water while you're doing the cleaning. So, 1, get food out. 2, organize the dishes, and then you've got 3 pots. And here is what they get. So pot number 1, get some relatively hot water, and that has been over there boiling. I'm going to put some in number 2 also, just so that my hands don't get too cold. And pot number 1 gets hand soap. All right? Now we need to get more. Number 2, all right, so this is your wash, obviously. Number 2 is your rinse. And the rinse is just plain water. Hold on. Getting a little icy here. I obviously put some hot water in there just to warm it up a little. And have some rinse. And then number 3 is your sanitation. And that's cold. So, what goes in number 3 is a little bit of bleach. Now you may ask yourself, why do we have 2 kind of like rinsing-ish stations? The problem is, when you wash your things with soap, the soap will neutralize the bleach, and the bleach will not work anymore. So you gotta wash it and then get the soap off of it before you bleach anything. Otherwise, you're defeating the entire purpose. So there's a lot of tools you can use to wash. I don't think I have to go too deep into them. Obviously, you guys have seen things like scrubbies or whatever. My 2 favorite tools to use, I've got a piece of chainmail here, and this is great for cleaning out, harder stuff, especially Dutch ovens. This is the only thing I use on Dutch ovens. But my favorite is honestly a toilet brush. This thing is great for cleaning everything your scouts throw at you. It's a clean one. So I've got my dirty cup here. You know what? I mean, if it's your dishes, actually that water's a little too hot. All right. Got to clean, get the soap off, and then I give it a bleach. And of course, let it dry. And whether you have somebody who's assigned to do KP or kitchen police or kitchen patrol to clean everything, or the scouts kind of filter through and do their own, in turns or whatever. But like I said, steps 1, 2, and 3 are really great, but it's very important to do pre-1, get the food out, and then cleanest to dirtiest. Anybody have any questions? All right, so once you finish off with all your KP water and you've got to get rid of it, what you're going to do is you're going to dump the first bucket of all the soapy water, maybe use your brush to clean up the edges or whatever, get it as clean as you can, dump the water, and then you're going to take your clean rinse water, or semi-clean rinse water, dump it in there, rinse that around, chuck it, and finally, bucket number 3, your bleach, which is hopefully the cleanest water of all. You dump it in number 2, the rinse, let that clean a little, dump it in number 1, and what you're doing is you're essentially cleaning out all of your clean rinse buckets, or all your wash buckets. Let that rinse a little, and then dispose of it appropriately.
An appropriate disposal of water can mean a few different things, and it depends on where you are. Some campsites will have a designated sump, and that's kind of like a hole in the ground with a screen on top of it, so you can separate out the food particles. Sometimes, if you're in a little bit of a lower impact setting, you could rainbow the water, which basically means kind of like spraying it out into the woods and the brush where you're not going to be walking. Some places have a requirement where you put it in a bucket and carry it out with you. It really depends on the campsite you're staying in.